My family thought I was a tradition, a warm house with a perpetually full table. They didn't see me as a person, only a service. This year, my son texted, "You're still coming for Christmas, right?" No hello, no question mark, just the assumption. He'd find out soon enough that my answer would be the most powerful word I'd said in years. Ever felt like you were invisible, taken for granted? If you've ever had the courage to draw a line in the sand, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let's dive into a story where the best revenge isn't loud or dramatic. It's simply leaving. This is the story of Ernesta, a woman who, for decades, had been the silent, smiling architect of her family's holidays. But as the years went on, the warmth of shared joy began to feel like the heavy weight of obligation. What started as invitations turned into demands, and the thank yous turned into simple assumptions. Ernesta's daughter, Imran, had a practiced way of making a request sound like a statement of fact. "It's just 15 people," she'd say, swirling her wine glass, her words dropping like crumbs. She didn't even look up from the catering brochure she was highlighting. It was a familiar scene, one that played out in Ernesta's dining room every year, a ritual of quiet imposition. Imran would slide a menu across the table with prices already circled and items crossed out in a demanding red pen. She'd talk about her mother's nut allergy as if it were Ernesta's sole responsibility to manage. And then, the final condescending blow. "My brother's kids hate hotels, so we'll need the guest rooms." The words landed on Ernesta like small, stinging insults. This wasn't a request. It was an order. And for the first time in years, something inside her didn't just accept it. A cool, quiet clarity washed over her. She took a long, slow sip of water, the cold glass a small comfort in her hand. Then she smiled, a genuine, private smile. She wasn't angry. She was perfect. "I'm going on a trip," she said, her voice even, steady. "You can handle it." Imran froze. Her fingers, still wrapped around the stem of her glass, went slack. Her mouth hung open, as if she was trying to process a foreign language. "I'm sorry, what?" she finally managed, her voice smaller, unsure. This was new. Imran wasn't used to not being agreed with. "I'll be gone December 22nd through New Year's Day," Ernesta replied, her tone unwavering. "So you and your 15 guests can do what you like." The silence that followed was so thick it felt like a presence in the room. It wasn't angry or hurt, just stunned. Ernesta gently pushed in her chair and began clearing the side plates. Imran didn't offer to help. She never did. She just watched, trying to figure out if this was a joke, a test, or a punishment. Ernesta, for the first time in a very long time, didn't feel a shred of guilt. This wasn't an act of spite. It was the culmination of years of quiet erasure. Once, Christmas at Ernesta's had been a joy. Her son Nolan would arrive, grumbling good-naturedly as he unloaded the car. "Smells like Christmas in here, Mom," he'd say, a quick kiss on her cheek. The holidays were imperfect, yes, but they felt earned, a shared labor of love. But something had shifted. The grateful calls had morphed into demanding group texts. The "would you minds" became the "you'll need tos." The help stopped, but the guest list doubled. Last year, Ernesta had been a one-woman show. 2 roasted meats, 6 side dishes, 3 desserts. All because Imran didn't want to stress bake. While they did their last-minute shopping and drank spiced cider, Ernesta was in the kitchen, scrubbing pans and clearing up. Later, she saw the picture on social media, a glossy photo of her family, all smiles and matching flannel. The caption read, "Family time at Mom's." Not a single mention of the woman behind the camera, behind the oven, behind the relentless effort. The final straw had come during a planning call. Imran, looking up from her phone, said, "Don't go overboard on food this year. Our budget's tight." Our budget. As if she was part of their financial equation. As if she hadn't paid for every single turkey, every ham, every pie for years. That sentence didn't bruise her. It clarified everything. They wanted her house, her table, her labor, her warmth, but not her presence, not her comfort, not even her opinion. Just what she could provide quietly without thanks. That night, Ernesta sat at her laptop with a cup of coffee. The decision was made. No dramatic declarations, just a quiet search in a blank browser bar. Quiet Winter Cabins, Arizona. A few clicks, one reservation. December 22nd through January 1st. No guests, no list, just 10 days of air that didn't smell like obligation. She closed the laptop, a profound sense of peace settling over her. This was the first thing she'd bought for herself in years that didn't require justification. Her departure wasn't a secret. It was a statement. She printed the group text, the one with the casual assumption, 15 people for Christmas, thanks in advance, Ernesta, you're the best. She folded it neatly into a plain white card. On the back, in steady handwriting, she wrote, "This home will be unoccupied from December 22nd to January 1st. Wishing you warmth, food, and joyful memories wherever you choose to gather. Ernesta." No sarcasm, no guilt, just facts. She taped the card to the mailbox, just high enough for Imran to see, and just low enough that Nolan would have to stoop a little to read it. Then she locked every door, unplugged the coffee maker, and set the thermostat 2 away. The house was bare, the oven cold. She slid her suitcase into the trunk and drove away. She didn't look back at the home that had hosted dozens of people, many of whom never thought to say thank you. She turned the radio to a classic soul station, cracked the window, and drove into the quiet night, the air filled with the scent of pine and liberation.
They didn't believe her, not really. Not until they pulled up in their overpacked SUV, kids half asleep, trunk full of store-bought trays. The porch light was off, the windows were dark, the gate was locked. That's when the messages started. Nolan's text appeared first. "Mom, where are you? Are you okay?" Then Emran's, sharper, more demanding. "Gates locked. We're here with food and kids. What's going on? Did you forget?" Ernesta didn't reply. There was nothing left to explain. The tone of their messages shifted, growing sharper. "This isn't funny. You're making a scene. This is selfish." That word. Selfish. After 3 decades of saying yes to everything, of swallowing her words so their piece could sit at the table, they called her selfish. Ernesta picked up her phone, read the thread one last time, then placed it face down in a drawer. Outside her cabin, pine trees stretched toward a sky on fire with the setting sun. The world didn't care that she had said no. It didn't call her selfish. It just let her be. She sat by the window, hands wrapped around a warm mug, and let the silence settle deep into her bones. Later, she learned from a neighbor that they had ended up at Emran's brother's place. The tiny galley-style kitchen, the unfamiliar stove, the raw turkey, the air mattress that hissed itself flat by midnight. Not a single person mentioned Ernesta. Truthfully, they told people she was sick, that she'd gotten overwhelmed, that she needed rest. They rewrote the story because the truth, that she chose not to host, was too disruptive to their image of her. The revenge wasn't in their discomfort, though that was a bonus. The true revenge was in her own peace. On Christmas morning, she walked to a local diner and ordered a single cinnamon roll. She sat by the window, watching a hawk ride the wind. No screaming children, no pile of dishes, no questions about allergies. She didn't miss anything. The real boundary isn't a slammed door or a shouted word. It's the quiet understanding that you've been taken for granted for too long. For Ernesta, the quiet of a cabin in Arizona was louder than any confrontation could ever be. It wasn't about punishment. It was about reclaiming herself. And that clarity, it turned out, was stronger than any apology they could ever demand. What's the most satisfying act of justice you've ever witnessed or experienced? Let me know in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of poetic justice. Don't forget to share this video with someone who might need a reminder that sometimes saying no is the most powerful yes you can give yourself.